You are listening to Visionaries Wrestling Network, providing your perfect podcast experience.
M is for Mason.
G is for Graham.
B for Betcha.
This is the MGB Wrestling Podcast, the podcast with PG-rated material accessible to wrestling fans of all ages. Hi, my name is Mason, and here's proof that wrestling fans still live with their parents, my co-host, my dad, Graham.
Okay, this is MGB 002, EWA Legends, Endgame, May 18th, 2019. And already that's a much better start than we did last time, Mason, because you kept calling it AEW. I don't even remember what I called it. It wasn't EWA, though. We kept mixing it up. Like, there's
I
only...
think it was you that said AEW. I said something else.
You said AEW.
Because you started it.
You're wearing your Elite t-shirt as well today as well. No, you said that. I think I called it EAW. I think that's what I called it. But yeah, we made a total mess of it. In our defense, we didn't take any notes at all, right? Because we just showed up because it was your birthday.
Yeah.
And we weren't even planning on... I thought we would do like a 10-minute review or something. And we enjoyed it so much, we thought we would do a full event. And that's why this one's 002. We're definitely continuing this. We really enjoy EWA. I better get it right. We enjoy EWA. Eastern Wrestling Alliance. And it's actually EWA Pro Wrestling as well, because there's actually a few different ones. Well, these organizations have like such similar names. It's like really complicated. Like, you'll type in one, I think one of them I typed in, and it takes you to, like, Germany. It's, like, really confusing. Anyway, we know which one it is. It was at the Tall Cedars Hall again. Doors opened at 7, and bell time was 7:30. Me always being a stickler for wanting to get there early. We got there about 6:40, and actually, we got straight inside. So, I don't know. And actually, there was a match at 7 as well. I think 7:03 is when it started. Now, also, differently for this one as well, Jackson actually came with us as well. He wasn't at the first one, and we said, oh, he would love it. And he absolutely did.
Yeah, I think it was because, like, there was rage in a cage. So, like, who knows if it was, like, there was going to be blood and all that stuff.
Yeah, I had no idea. I just knew you'd like it. And he actually, as we walked in, he was like, where's the cage? I was like, no, there's no cage. He thought I guess he thought everyone had a cage there.
Yeah. Like, I'm actually saying that I think this one was actually more violent than the last one. Because of that one match.
Possibly, yeah. Yeah, when we get to that one, yeah. No, I would probably agree with you, actually, come to think of it. But anyway, now, we missed the last two events for a couple of reasons. Mainly because they were on Fridays, and Northern Virginia traffic's just impossible on a Friday. There was one event when I left school I looked about 2:20, and I looked how long it would take to get there, and it said about 2.5 hours. It should normally take about an hour and a quarter, something like that. I drove the 10 minutes home, which is towards Baltimore. And by the time I got home, it said it was like 2 hours and 40. I was like, that doesn't even make any sense. So I wasn't going to go to that one. And the other one, I couldn't make either. And actually, one of them, it was pouring it down with rain as well. I'm like, there's no way I'm traveling trench rain. So we do want to go to as many as we can. But I think probably the only ones we're going to be going to are probably the ones on Saturday. Actually, for you next year, we could probably do the ones on Friday.
Yeah.
Your problem right now is I can't pick you up and take you to the events because they're too far away. I could pick Jackson up and possibly take him, which I'd look to doing on one. But with you being at the middle school closer to where we live, that might be a possibility, actually, that we might be able to...
Yeah.
Depends on who's there. Like, if there was somebody we really wanted to see, we could probably try and push it. We could probably get out of school an hour early or something and go.
Because, like, if that summer Sizzler or whatever, like, they push that one back a year, we would have a better chance of actually going.
Yeah, no, I think that's true. Now, for this one, having said we don't go because of the traffic, we actually did get caught in a bit of traffic. I don't quite know. It was Saturday. I guess it's the summer season, or it's getting close to that. But we made it in plenty of time. We made our normal stop at, and I always get it mixed up, it's Jessup. I always want to say Joppa, because that's where MCW is. At the Burger King there, perfect. You just turn off the exit, boom, you're there. 50-cent coffees. $5 meal for 2 kids. Was it $1.50 for chicken? We ate for like under $10. It's absolutely ridiculous, that place. All right, so we said we got there nice and early. We did get front row tickets again because I didn't want Jackson not to be able to see. And I also saw if you came early, you got a free program as well. I love the free program. We've talked about this before at different events where we're like, I wish there was a program so you knew who the names were. Because, like, particularly when you don't know the organisation,
Yeah.
you're kind of like, I wonder who this is, and you can't always hear them. And it gives you backstory as well, in case you didn't know. We knew because we'd kind of seen them, and I caught up on YouTube as well, because they post all their events on YouTube later. I thought that was really cool. That was one thing we didn't have to try and write down super quick. There was one event they missed out. They didn't talk about Sly Scapone's match for some reason. I'm not quite sure why that wasn't in the program, but every other match was there, and I thought that was a really cool idea. You know what I did actually wonder, and this is really arrogant, did we mention that in our previous review, that a program would be really useful? We have talked about it on other podcasts though, right?
I don't know.
I don't know, but I really like the fact... It's probably just because they had the Hall of Fame event. That was probably more to do with it, but I hope they continue to do that. I think that's really cool. Or you could buy them. If you went on front row, you could buy them. I think they were $1. And it kind of reminded me of going to soccer games in England. You always used to get a program, so you at least know who the players are. I love the program idea. I think that should continue, and I think other people should definitely do the same thing as well. I'll tell you one other thing. It was good quality program as well. The paper, like when you touched it, it wasn't like flimsy. They used good quality paper on it as well. I thought it looked really professional. I really liked that. All right, so pre-show started probably...
Oh, yeah. And another thing is they actually had a picture of the wrestlers on there with the names under it.
That really helpful as well.
And on the back of the program, it had the results for Rage in a Cage and the other one.
It did, yeah, and I can't remember what the other one's called as well.
Sweet 16.
Sweet 16, there you go. Perfect, yes. And no, that was really helpful as well. Because when I was trying to look at, like... Because that first one we went to, I kind of got a feel for the characters, but I couldn't always remember who was who. Like, I'd get certain groups mixed up. Like, in my head right now, I still get kind of like the Dark Horses and the War Pigs a little mixed up. Like, I know they're both tag teams, I know they're like kind of big guys, but I can't like single them out. It really helped me remember when it said, oh, they faced these guys, and then they faced... I was like, oh, okay, now I kind of...
The Dark Horses have black hair, that's how I remember.
Well, they have the t-shirts with the
And
horses on as well.
yeah.
But if you can only see, like, if you can't always see them, like if they're from the side, when you see like the wrestling picture. No, I thought that was a really good
And
idea
the War
as well.
Pigs have a fork. Big one.
Well, the thing you said is going to feature heavily in some of these as well, because I'm going to mention who they actually fought in previous matches as well. But no, I thought that was really good. I'm glad you mentioned that. All right, the pre-show, 7:03. This was DB Craft, Sylar, and Eddie Bias. Now, at Rage in a Cage, Eddie Bias actually won the outside in Scramble. And Sylar won a tag team with Dragonfly 2 versus Elo Neal and Apollo Cruz. Not that Apollo Cruz. And, yeah, actually, this one I don't think was listed in the program, because this was a pre-show match, I think.
Yeah. I put DB Crap. That's what I thought. That's what I heard. I heard DB Crap. Well...
There's...
It's not that funny.
There is absolutely no way a wrestler would have that as his name.
Well, I don't see how it's that funny.
The fact that you thought that would be his actual name. Oh my gosh, that's hilarious. Can you imagine that as your gimmick? Well, I guess you could actually.
Like Orange...
You could be like the opposite. Like, sometimes when you say, oh, something's really bad, it's actually really good. It could be something kind of like that as well.
like R-Truth sort of character?
I guess it's possible. Oh my gosh.
Like that R-Truth sort of character?
You should make a sign next time when we go there.
Okay.
DB crap.
Okay, so DB was with the hospital dude, actually.
Yes, hospital dude. Which one's that then? So that is DB. Oh, okay, I got you. Because he came out with a kind of like a partner, right? Okay.
Yeah. So they're so they're both teaming up on Vader. Well, the guy who had Vader on his shirt. I can't remember his name.
Not sure.
Not Silas, not DB, the other guy.
Eddie Bias?
Yeah, Eddie.
Now, I'm not sure. I've got one written down here. One place I've got written Eddie Bias, and on another place I've got written Eddie Blas, B-L-A-S. So, I'm not sure, actually, which one it is. This will make great podcasting while I actually read the thing on here. Somewhere in here it says... Oh, see, in the program it says Eddie Blas, B-L-A-S.
Yeah.
So, I guess that is the name then. I guess I must have just typed it down wrong somewhere.
See, I'm not the only one that makes mistakes.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
I didn't think his name was like Eddie Blasphemous or something really bad or something, but hey. I think that's great. I just love that name. Every time I see him, I'm going to think of that's what his actual name was. I got something if you want to
It's Crab, right?
No, it's Craft.
Oh.
Like Warcraft.
Oh, okay.
Crafty.
Okay, so hospital dude, he hides under the ring. Then next thing you know, he's on the other side. It's so weird.
Because we were like, he's going to do like Josh does. He's going to just hide under there. And then later,
Hornswoggle.
And then Hornswoggle, that type of thing. And then they're going to come out later. And then, yeah, literally like 10 seconds later, he just came out the other side. I kind of like that he did that, though.
Yeah.
I didn't expect him to do that.
It was so quick, it felt like he was teleporting to the other side.
I thought they had like stuff right under middle.
Yeah,
like,
they did.
So how he managed to maneuver himself through all that stuff there? Because they had stuff for the later match.
Yeah.
Like trash cans, tables, pieces of wood, all that stuff. So the fact he managed to maneuver himself under that, I thought that made that even more impressive.
Well, he might be in the army and like had to do that type of training.
Could be.
So, when he rolls out the other side, he chokes Eddie, and DB won with the help of Hospital Dude.
Now, I actually missed something right at the start. I did the introductions and I forgot one thing. We actually thought this was a singles match.
Yeah.
That we couldn't really hear everything this time. It was really difficult to hear everything that was said. And we just assumed it was a singles match. Now, the first guy who came out was clearly a heel. Now, we knew Jackson wanted to get high fives. So when a second person came out, we just assumed, oh, heel versus face. So you guys went for high fives. He came over to you, totally faked you out. Because he was a heel as well. And then the third person came out. He was a heel as well, though.
I don't think he was exactly a heel. He didn't. Well,
there was no clear face though in this match. That's for sure.
Hospital
which is kind of
sort
unusual.
of made him a heel, but like he didn't do like heel stuff.
Yeah.
It was more Hospital Dude.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting though that it wasn't the good versus bad type of thing, but the match worked good. I was quite happy with the match. At the end of the match, Blas actually complained to the ref as he actually got dragged out of the ring, which allowed Hospital Guy to the win. And ref just sort of like shrugs, like, "What am I gonna do?"
Yeah,
it's all over. Instant replay.
Yeah,
can you imagine how bad instant replay would be for wrestling? It would totally ruin everything because it'd be like, "Oh yeah, he did have his foot on the ropes. Yeah, you didn't have his shoulder down." And you'd have to play properly. I'm glad they don't do instant replay for wrestling.
Did you say that they're gonna have like instant replay for soccer?
Yeah.
Don't they
VAR.
do like replays anyway? Can't you just?
There is in certain competitions in England, not for the Premier League.
And like
but it'll be for the Premier League next year.
During wrestling, they're like you know how they put replays on in WWE, and then if the ref messes up, can't you just look at the replay
easily? But they don't because that would spoil the whole storyline.
Exactly.
But it would be kind of funny. All right, then they went to the Hall of Fame inductions, and initially they announced Jim Christian, and they played his music, and nothing.
I was looking over, like, there's the bathrooms there, and then you carry on a little bit, and it looks like the back room area, like part 2.
I think somebody dropped the ball. I don't think he was ready at all.
Because I saw him over there, around there, and then he ran into the locker room, and then ran back out and ran around the... Like
he had to. Arena. They played almost whole of his song. And you saw him, you were like, yeah, he's not even there. They played the song Kryptonite, which I don't know if you recognise, but I recognise that one.
Superman.
And, so it took him forever. It was like the longest playing of a song. It must have been for like 3 minutes, because he was way over on the far side.
Not as long as Undertaker, though.
Probably not, but before he comes actually through the curtain, it was certainly longer. He came into the crowd, he started throwing out beer cooses. We didn't get close to anything, we didn't get any free stuff. Jay's there putting his hand up because he's trying to get one. I was like, you might get one with being a little kid, but I don't know with it being a beer koozie, whether that was appropriate.
So, like, during the start, we realized that, he has a broken wrist right now, and so that he had to use his left arm and twist his whole hand over just to get the high five.
Just to get the high five. Yeah, we sat on the wrong side, really, didn't we? With him being right-handed. We wanted to sit where we sat last side. I like that side, but if he put his natural arm through where he's facing the wrestlers, he had no problems. He managed to get high fives.
I would sit on that side again because the steps are on that side of the ring, so the wrestlers are more likely to come your way.
Mm-hmm. I like that. I prefer that side of the ring. I can't really give a good reason. I guess partly you can actually see the wrestlers at their merch tables as well.
Yeah.
I kind of like to know what's going on there, so you can see those. And actually, at this point, I've actually got a little bit from... Now, I didn't know any of these people, obviously, because we've only been going to these matches for... This is our second one. So these are all classic people who've been there before. So I had to do a little bit of research on this one. I actually looked up on Baltimore Sun. This is actually going back from 2009. And the story I got from this is, it says, the main match Sunday will be the heavyweight title as former partners turned sworn enemies DJ Hyde and Jim Hardwick go at it. Jim Hardwick is Jim Christian. So that's the owner.
Oh.
So I didn't actually realise some of all this story at all. Rounding out the top of the bill will be a match for the state title between J.D. Roberts and Chace Rawlings, the latter of whom is a fresh off of suspension. Chace Rawlings was the first person they introduced. So you can see from when I googled like Chace Rawlings, it came up 10 years ago. But I didn't realize that Jim Christian. I guess it makes sense if you're an owner that you used to probably be a wrestler as well. But
why is there so many like 2-letter names like DB, that one you just named, and then
DJ Hyde?
Yeah, there's JB
Roberts.
Jr. There's JB Jr. Technically, Mr. Jones counts.
I guess so, Emma. No, I would agree with you. Even the ones you just said, out of the number of people who fought, that is kind of a lot. I wonder if sometimes they use it as like their real name. Like if their real name is JD, you want to separate your name from your character. That's possible.
That happens at school. This one kid doesn't really exactly like his first name, so he just changed it to his first name, and then he's a junior, so we've just put his first letter of his name is K, and then he's a junior, so he just made it KJ.
KJ. Yeah. I thought Jackson might be JD at one point as well, but that never really caught on.
Well, he's JJ now, or J.
I can say it's just one of those things that kind of how it evolved. Now, as they started throwing koozies out, they then came in and they started getting the awards out to hand out to the recipients. Jay puts his hand up thinking it's another prize, thinking they're going to throw trophies into the crowd, which I thought was pretty funny. So, first of all, Chace Rawlings. And from EWA on Facebook, they actually said, Chace Rawlings is a former EWA heavyweight champion, Maryland champion, who was a War Pig original. So I guess that tag team's been going for longer than I realised.
Oh, that's why he was teamed up with the War Pig.
Oh, that makes perfect sense now. I copied this after this is one of the last things I copied in, and I hadn't even gone back to look at that. We are happy to announce that he will be in action teaming with Blood and John Berg against a team of 3 yet to be determined.
Blood and John Berg are probably War Pigs then.
I'm going to guess so. That would probably make sense. After 2 events, finally the pieces are starting to fit together a little bit better. All right, the second person that came out was 4-time Cruiserweight champion Wes Mercer. And from the EWA Facebook again, it says, Wes Mercer is a former 2-time EWA heavyweight champion, a former 4-time EWA Cruiserweight champion, and is considered by many to be the greatest Cruiserweight in EWA history. Now, I know you didn't see this moment because I asked you. He licked the trophy, pushed it against his head to see if it would stick. It clearly wasn't going to stick. And then he was like, I guess that didn't work. I thought that looked really funny.
Oh, I got Wes Morrison on here.
We weren't sure. We couldn't hear very well, and we didn't know the names very well. A lot of these names I got later after the event. Like, I wrote down Chace. I knew it was Chace. I think he had that on his shirt as well.
Yeah, I thought it was Chace Lines because that's what he had on his shirt. Oh, yeah. And then when he announced it, I heard Rawlings, so it was Chris Rawlings.
Oh, okay. So I got, so some of these I got half names, and then when I checked later, I managed to get the whole ones. And the last person that came out to the song Beat It by Michael Jackson. That was Stevie Riggs. And you guys actually got your first high fives of the match, because I made a note for this.
It was the first high five of the night.
First high five, yes, of the night. Sorry, not the match. Again, Stevie Riggs is an EWA original, being the second person to ever hold the EWA heavyweight title. A former tag team champion with Jim Christian. And Derek Frazier. Steve Riggs was a huge building block for the beginning of EWA. And you could kind of tell that relationship as well. Like when they came out, not that they didn't give the other guys hugs, but you could see like he was a big... And I think he made a point of saying, like, this would not be here. EWA would not be here if it wasn't for Steve
I was
Riggs.
thinking of like Adam Cole, because you said he used to wrestle.
He did, yeah.
Yeah, and I was thinking that it would be somebody like that. Because he was having, like, there was a long introduction of how good he was.
Yeah.
So I was thinking Adam Cole, but it wasn't.
That would have been really cool if Adam Cole... Yeah, I remember you saying that now at the time. Now, after that finished, we had the announcer come in, and he actually did the hot dog dance. Well, that's what I put it down here. Do you want to tell us what the hot dog dance is?
So when you pumped your fist up, towards the air...
Eat!
And then to the side...
More!
And then you do like a karate kick.
Hot dogs!
And then so he did that, and
Eat! More! Hot dogs! Just so you can know, Mason's doing like little kicks and stuff. And then he'd mess it up and it'd be like, hot dogs, more, eat, hot dogs, more, eat. And he would just mess it up.
That should be like the Chick-fil-A. You know how they have eat more chicken?
It was kind of fun. The kids liked doing it. Yeah. I didn't actually know the point of it. Was it because they were selling hot dogs?
I don't know.
I have no idea why they were doing it.
I feel like the wrestler was going to come out with the hot dog or something, but no, it wasn't. And
there was I think I was trying to tell you this at the time. When Matt and I was at Capital Wrestling just before WrestleMania, there was a character called Hot Dog.
Oh yeah, like Cheeseburger too.
I guess so, yeah.
And when we were, I can't remember what it was. I just started pumping my fist up in the air, and then Jackson was like, "Eat."
Because Because you remembered it. That was funny. I forgot about that.
I can't remember where it was.
We were out somewhere out in town. I remember that happening.
I think it might have been at like near what that trip where we went to Wendy. It was when we went to Huddersfield.
Huddersfield. That's
something
in England.
United. I can't.
Oh, we went to DC United game at this weekend.
Yeah.
It was Loudon County
Loudon
or Loudon
County.
United or something like
Loudon United, and then we were just walking around, and then like we started doing the eat more hot dogs thing.
And he definitely remembered that. No, that was funny how he remembered that. All right, match 2 is the Grimy Scots versus Maxx Morrison and Kevin Mears. This was a rematch from the Sweet 16 tournament. Maxx Morrison and Kevin Mears won in the first round. Now, at Rage in a Cage, Grimy Scots lost to the War Pigs, and Maxx Morrison was actually part of the War Games.
War Games?
Yeah. You could remember you were saying, when are they going to put the second ring in? But it wasn't an NXT War Game. It wasn't an NXT War Games thing. Kevin Mears actually set up his Twitter in January 2019. You know how we talk about people that don't use it very much? He has one tweet. He thanked Mike Quackenbush for doing you know how he does his seminars and tells you how to be a better wrestler? That's his only tweet.
So, I forgot his name.
Kevin Mears?
Kevin Mears and Maxx Morrison is noise pollution.
Oh, they are?
Yeah, they
I
have
missed
it
that
on their
part.
trunks.
I remember seeing that now, actually. Yes, I totally missed that part.
So, noise pollution attacked Grimy Scots as soon as they get into the ring. And then Hamish, he gets thrown outside and then he hits the cameraman. And then I think this is the first time out of 2 times that the cameraman gets hit or drops the camera.
He dropped the camera?
No, he just kicked it. But another time, the guy just dropped the camera after it got kicked.
Ouch.
But it didn't break. And the Grimy Scots, they win with a running neck breaker.
Now, you actually missed a bit, which I thought you were going to mention, which is why I normally I was going to hold off on this part. I normally do the introductions and let you do the match. We bought streamers for this one.
Yeah.
We bought the flag as well. Jackson loved waving the flag. There is a few pictures posted of us on Facebook holding the flags, and the guys could see us. We were waving the flag. And we asked, can we bring the streamers? And they're like, oh yeah, that sounds fun. We were the only people with streamers.
Yeah.
And we nailed it. I threw one, and we got a couple, and it went straight over. I'm trying to remember which one it is. Hamish's shoulder?
I sort of nailed it. I put it like 5 inches in front of Hamish, and Hamish caught. I think,
it was.
Hamish caught it, and then he just threw it over there.
It was still good. I got one, you can see it's draped over his shoulder, and he was liking it, and it did look really good. And he's there celebrating with it. I think it looks cool when you get the streamers
and
to
Jackson
land on them.
was on the roof.
But as soon as they're doing that, he's still up there, and he's waving to the crowd in front. They got tacked from behind. So I'm like, oh no. I was like, please tell us we didn't cost them the match because of that. But anyway, they managed to incorporate it into the match, but... we get to see those guys quite a bit soon, actually. They're going to be at Primetime Pro, and they're also going to be at Flying V as well. So we get to see them a couple more times.
I think the guy at Nova Pro who has like the briefcase, and you said his gimmick is with a body bag. I feel like you should like wrap him, like mummify him with the streamers.
It's actually tempting, and I haven't told you yet, because we're still looking at what the traffic's going to be like today. We might actually go see Mr. Grimm tonight.
Oh.
There is a possibility. He's like 90 minutes away. I saw on Buff Ref's Twitter feed that there's an event going on near Richmond. It's not an organisation I know. I think it's like a fundraiser or something.
Yeah.
I was like, if we're not doing anything anyway.
Oh, yeah.
And I saw on the poster, and you could see the back of his shirt, it says Mr. Grimm. So we might possibly go see that. So... Match 3. This is the Pain Factory Showcase match between Saul Esparza and JB Jr. Now, I didn't know what the Pain Factory was, and I heard somebody talk about that as well, so I started to look this one up. Now, from that interview I had earlier, that I was talking about from the Baltimore Sun, it says, sitting in the former Dundalk warehouse that serves as his EWA headquarters and wrestling school, aptly named the Pain Factory, Hardwick doesn't look or sound especially dangerous. Anyway, the last part's unimportant, but that explains what the Pain Factory is. So the Pain Factory is where they train their wrestlers.
Yeah.
And you could tell Saul was young. I actually found out later he's only 18. JB Jr., not quite so sure. We saw him previously as well. So at Rage in a Cage, JB Jr. retired hijinks when we last saw him in a career versus mask match. JB Jr. came out to the final countdown as well. I like that song. And kids behind us were shouting, take the mask off, I've never heard anybody, because JB Jr. is clearly a face as well, that they would want you to take the mask off. Like, that's really important to luchadors. That's like the big thing, that they have to keep their mask on. And you've seen them, like, they'll get beat up and they'll keep their face pinned to the ground. Guess they don't want people seeing their face.
Oh, so like one time like Kalisto, he was only supposed to get his mask pulled up to like his nose, but it accidentally went like way over his head, and then I can't remember who it was. They just shoved it back on his face.
Yeah. No, that's something that generally doesn't happen unless they give them permission. I'm sure. But they normally try and protect the identity. I think that's kind of cool because if you're a big star, you can walk around and nobody has no idea who you are. Like, if you're Roman Reigns, you can't just walk around. You get recognized straight away. Also, just because of his physical size, but luchadors tend to be smaller in stature, so you wouldn't recognize them. You just think it's just a regular old person walking around. So I kind of like that.
And the thing was, I saw another feud. It was Rey Mysterio and Jericho, and Rey Mysterio went for the 619, but then Jericho swiped off his mask, and then he quickly covered his face with his hands and ran off to the back.
There you go. That's normally what happens.
I wonder if you don't wear your mask in the back so the wrestlers can see your face, but just wear it if you're like on a documentary or something and they're in the back.
That I don't know. I don't know how much they stay in character.
I wonder if it's annoying too.
I don't know.
Like,
I'm sure if you're in an outdoor arena, it could get really hot.
I remember.
I'm sure.
The Mankind. I watched his Blood in it. No, not It was one of his things, and he said the mask sort of gets really annoying and itchy at the start, but then once you get used to that Mankind mask, then it gets more and more better. And he used to wear it all the time.
That one doesn't look so good because it's got leather parts to it as well, whereas the normal mask kind of feels it's an Invader as well. But the kind of luchador mask, I'm thinking like Rey Mysterio, they tend to look like they fit a little bit nicer and a little bit more comfortable. But all right, what we got for this match?
Saul is very athletic, and so Saul punched the post, and then he chops. So JB Jr. he chops Saul, but it does nothing until Saul takes down his straps, and then he chops his actual skin. And then his actual chest, and then he starts hurting, and then he tries to put his straps back up, but then JB won't let him, so he keeps chopping him.
He did, and before that, Saul actually says, "Come on, hit me," and it didn't. It had no effect, but yeah, once it was bare skin, it did start having an effect. And before that, I put great joint manipulation, and the reason on everything I have for that is because I started looking away at that point, because you were like, "Oh, look, he's bending his fingers back." I'm like, "Yeah, thank you for mentioning that. I can't stand looking at that."
And then he tries to put it back on, and then Saul, he was about to pin JB from a superplex, but time ran out.
Well, actually, just before that, they called out that there was 1 minute left in the match, and we were kind of like, "Oh, really? Like, how long was it?" It was probably like a 10-minute match or something. And then about 2 minutes later, or it felt like 2 minutes later, they were like, 30 seconds. It felt like it didn't feel like an accurate time thing for that for me. And then, like you said, yeah, he could have just gone for the pin. If you only got 30 seconds left, and it was less than that by this time, going for the superplex kind of didn't seem like a very sensible option.
Planned.
I'm sure it was too, but it didn't really fit with the story. If you know you only have a few seconds left in a match, think of the Iron Man matches. They pretty much always go down to 0, right?
Well,
there's 2 seconds left, they go for a pin, and it's 1, 2, time expires, and then 3. They can normally time it pretty good.
I was about to mention that. So I watched Shawn Michaels versus Bret Hart in an Iron Man match. It was 1 hour, and there wasn't a pinfall in the hour, so it was a sudden death. But they thought that Bret retained, so he just walked away with it because it was a tie, and then the ref he issued a sudden death. He was arguing with the announcer who was Gorilla Monsoon at that point, and then Michaels he just rolled him up, sweet chin music him twice, and then won the belt.
Now, there was actually a chance of let them fight. And we have seen before matches where they've the wrestler said, "Hey, we want to fight for 5 more minutes or whatever." And I actually even noticed the announcer was clapping along, trying to get the crowd sort of jeered up. And I was like, oh, they're definitely going to let it happen. They didn't. No extra time.
5 more seconds.
But actually, JB actually had to be helped out. And I actually wondered, was he injured? So I don't know. So perhaps
but we saw him later, and during the intermission.
But perhaps at that moment, you don't always know. Sometimes your knee doesn't always feel good, and I don't know. Yeah. But sometimes later, if you put ice on it and stuff. So I don't actually know.
Do Orange Cassidy, 5 more seconds?
I don't know. Yeah, that 1 minute match was absolutely hilarious at GCW. And then, of course, they didn't finish, but they had 5 more seconds, and they did manage to get a win. That match was hilarious. Did I actually show you that in the end? All right, that's one I got to show you later.
You showed me dodgeball. I don't know.
Okay. I talked about it to you, but I didn't show it.
Yeah, you couldn't find it actually.
Oh, okay.
Because it was 1 minute out. So 1 minute out of the 2 hours.
Yeah, that's probably difficult to find. All right, match 4. Elo Neal and The Show, Mr. Jones, versus Chris Kushnir and Austin Everett, who were accompanied with Corey Bush. At Rage in the Cage, we already talked about Elo Neal teamed with Apollo Crews in the loss, not that one. And Austin Everett was with Maxx Morrison, and we talked about that. And New Army in a War Games loss. And Chris Kushnir was actually in the outside-in scramble match as well.
Yeah, the Apollo Cruz is spelled Cruz, right?
It is, or Z for our English listeners. Now, there was a naming competition for this one as well. Mr. Jones and Elo Neal. And I put it forward to you, but you never actually entered anything.
Yeah,
it came down to two. It was the Electric Experience or the Electric, organization or something. Anyway, the Experience one won. And, what you got for this match?
I feel like it should have been Electric Experience.
Why?
Because of Elo Neal.
Oh, okay, all right. And then Mr. Jones doesn't get any part of it. I'm not quite sure how Mr. Jones fits into that one.
Exactly, because I was thinking
Show,
of,
but...
because you were thinking of,
Oh, perhaps it was the Electric Show, then. That would make more sense as the other option. And that actually would have incorporated part of his name. Anyway, it's kind of academic, as you're going to find out later in this match, so...
So, Austin, he sounds like Tremor. Like that scream.
Oh, like high-pitched?
Like that.
Well, people were calling him Justin Bieber as well.
Yeah.
Pretty much every time he came out. And he came out multiple times at this event. And the kids were going, Justin Bieber. And sort of Chris Kushnir had to kind of protect him a little bit. Or at one point he had his hands over his ears so he couldn't
And then Jackson started from Justin Bieber to Justin Grandpa to Justin Baby to Justin Loser.
He had every time he'd come up with a different name. He was having fun. I really didn't mind. He had an absolute blast at this
Didn't he
event.
follow you?
I followed all the people. Now, I do that because I have, lists set up on... Now, I haven't released them. I've made them private lists, and when I follow a wrestler from an organization, I create a list for that organization. So I did follow... I already forgot his name. Austin Everett. I followed him, and then I added him to the EWA list. So when I want to look for EWA things before the next event, I can sort of click on them, and I can see what each of the wrestlers are saying as well. Because it's kind of interesting. Sometimes they get, after the events, they got, their own pictures and stuff, and then you can see... I kind of like to do that. I do it with Nova Pro. I'm trying to think. I don't do it for every organisation. I probably was wrong in saying that. I have one set up for Primetime Pro, with it being this weekend, because I like to see what everyone's talking about ahead of time. But yeah, no, the guys from EWA are good. I think pretty much everybody who I kind of followed, I had a lot of people who followed me back. I don't mind if they don't follow me back. I just like to know a little bit more about the wrestlers.
Yeah.
So, no.
It's like you used to follow a whole bunch of WWE wrestlers.
I did, because we originally did.
Yeah.
Most of the time, we used to talk about WWE,
Oh,
so
yes.
I was interested in what they were saying.
Jackson said he wanted to follow Austin Everett just so he can call him Justin Bieber or Justin Baby or whatever.
He did, and I did do that, but no, he did say he wanted to do that. Normally, if he says he wants to follow somebody, I will follow them, but on this one, he just wanted to be mean, so I said no. Perhaps in the future, I might do that on his behalf. Okay, what else?
Cory, he tripped Eel, and then Eel, he accidentally punched Mr. Jones into Chris into a DDT for the win. And Mr. Jones, he did a Eel turn on Elo Neal.
Oh, very nice, very nice. I got one more thing for this match. Austin stood on Eel instead of pinning him properly and got a 1 count. I was like, that's not even worth it, dude.
Oh yeah, so at least it's better than a 0 count.
I guess so. Now, yeah, you talked about that heel turn at the end. He beat him down. He did a coup de grace as well. Coup de grace, I always think when Finn Balor does it, that looks really painful. Having seen one close up now, it looks absolutely awful. It looks like the most painful thing. Somebody landing on you like that with 2 feet.
I feel like it would help if you pull your legs up at the last second. So you're
I'm sure you can tense up a little bit,
so your bottom sort of takes some of the brunt off of the wrestler.
It still looks absolutely
and it helps
awful.
Being light.
It's
better than somebody like Big Show.
You won't want Cory Bush doing that to you.
No.
That's for sure. The tag team name lasted 10 minutes, so it's probably a good job you did waste time thinking of a name, Mason. I'm sure there'll be another competition soon. So, Elo Neal and Cruz, done. Elo Neal, Mr. Jones, done. Elo Neal doesn't seem to have much luck with tag team partners right now, so we'll have to find out. Perhaps he should just go to singles. He's not having much luck with tag teams at all.
Or it could be with somebody like Kylie Ray. She won't turn on him.
Now, I forgot to mention this to you, actually. The Primetime Pro, Elo Neal, has been promoted to one of the 3 big names in the tournament now. There's 3 people and the winner of the Royal Rumble. With Savage Gentleman Victor Benjamin being injured, Elo Neal got pulled up to make one of the 3 people now. So it's now, I hope I don't miss anybody, Elo Neal, Isaiah Frazier, Bro Keller, and whoever wins the Royal Rumble, or Battle Royal, whatever it's called. They're going to be the 4 people. So Elo Neal is going to be in singles action this weekend, as we're recording right now. We're recording on Memorial Day weekend. I guess we should say that for context.
Let's hope nobody attacks him, though.
Let's hope not. We had another Eat More Hot Dogs section. Match 5 was Chace Rawlings and the Raw... Match 5 was Chace Rawlings and the War Pigs, so you correctly called that, man. So I missed that when I wrote that down before. Versus the New Army and a mystery guest. Now, I couldn't figure out who the mystery guest was, but I found on Facebook, I believe it's Mason Wells, and you said you actually got Mason written down.
So we were, like, walking in to get our tickets and all that, and then there was, like, the owner, he was calling Mason, and I looked, and he was talking to the wrestler behind me, and that was Mason Wells.
Oh, that's what you were talking... Oh, I misunderstood when you were talking about that.
What is it with me and miswriting the wrestlers' names? I put Chance Rawlings.
I don't know. And you convinced me on that Ethan Chace, and it was Ethan Case, or vice versa. I can't remember which way it was now. You messed me up on that. At Rage in a Cage, the War Pigs defeated the Grimy Scots, as we talked about, and the New Army were in a loss again in the War Games.
So there was he came out. I think it was New Army.
New Army.
And Mason Riggs?
Mason, I forgot Wells, I think
Wells?
it was.
Okay, so they came out with somebody in a wheelchair, and then they put a trash can on his head, and so he couldn't, like, take it off.
No.
And so he was like that for, like a good 5 minutes.
And they were hitting the side of the trash can as well. There was no way he could
one of the War
brace
Pigs
himself.
hit it with, like, a sign and all that stuff. And then he started rattling it.
All right, so you missed a big part of this match then. So this is the match that you alluded to at the start. This is one where it was basically a street fight. There was road signs, there was trash cans, there was tables, there was everything. There was a lot of stuff being brought out, got from under the tables. There was a lot of stuff going on in this one. I did recognise that New Army from last time. I do remember the guy in the wheelchair. Last time in Rage in a Cage, there wasn't much room to manoeuvre around the outside at all. This time there was more room with no cages being there.
And people got dropped on trash cans a lot, too.
Uh-huh.
Oh, and I like that guy's wheelchair thing. It had, like, a skull as, like, the driver thing. And I saw yesterday there was, like, a Jeep, so you can see inside the Jeep. And it was, like, a manual one. And then the gear shift had a baseball. And then there was, like, a whole bunch of, and people got hit with a Bud Light sign. And I think they got inside the ring, and then I know the War Pigs lost, though. No, the War Pigs won. All
right. Now, I forgot to say after the Saul and JB match, that was a brilliant match. I love that match. At that point, and I know it was early on, I was like, that's my favourite match. Until this match. I think this then became my favourite match. There was so much going on. I wrote down, there's so much going on. Because it was difficult to keep track of everything. I loved it.
I watched it. I didn't even
I watched the guy, I put the guy in wheelchair, has trash can put on him, like you did. And then, I missed the ending.
Yeah, me too.
I missed the ending because we had somebody, I don't know if it was one of the people who worked there, they were like, I need you to move down some seats. I was like, well, we sat here because I didn't want to sit right in front of the kids behind, because being tall, I'm conscious, particularly when I take you and Jackson, that I don't want to be that person who sits right in front of the kids and then they can't see the ring. And I was kind of confused because I was like, well, if there's 2 seats there, why don't you just take those 2 seats? And I was trying to watch the match and trying to listen to her at the same time. And then she's like, well, if you don't move, I'm going to split you up. And I'm thinking, I don't know what you're talking about. And I was loving this match. I was like really annoyed. I was like, I was thinking at the time, can't you just wait until the end of this match? Like, also, why are you moving us? This is match 5. Halfway through match 5. And we've had the introduction going on as well. Anyway, then they explained that there was 4 people that were coming. And then they were adding 2 extra seats. And I was like, oh, I gotcha. So you don't want to sit 2 and 2. You want 4 together. Okay, that makes sense. And as they said they were going to split us up anyway, I was like, I guess I don't have much choice. So we moved down to the end, and then I just don't know what happened. I can't tell you who won. I have no idea what the finish was.
Yeah, all I know was War Pigs won, and then the Chance Rawlings, he retired, and then he went around with some beers and gave people some beers. And Jackson
I remember seeing that.
Jackson was the closest he's got to his dream beer shower.
It was a beer shower so much. And that took us into the intermission. But I was like, that's really weird. Like, somebody comes that late and you've got to move us immediately? Like, I don't know. I've never seen a sporting event where you would suddenly be moved like that. And it's like, hey, if you come late like that, bad luck. 2 of you going to sit here? 2 of you... And also, the seat they added in was, like, right in front of that post as well. Like, I don't know what sort... Anyway, never mind. We went to intermission. We had a few things we wanted to do. I wanted to try and get a different autograph, but with Jackson being the first one, he of course wanted the Grimy Scots autograph. I was like, all right, come on. let's go over there. So actually, before we did that, we kind of walked around the hallway to see. You saw your WWE figures because you wanted to know. They were $5. That was pretty good.
Yeah.
Who did you get?
I got a Vince McMahon one. It was perfect condition, and it had like the vest and the tie and all that stuff.
That's kind of cool, because that's definitely a different figure from your traditional wrestler.
I was about to get the Boogeyman.
Jackson picked out Brock Lesnar, who went on to win the Money in the Bank the next day, and then promptly broke him in less than 5 minutes. I managed to put his leg back in, but I was
now
like,
you can see inside.
he was trying to snap it. I was like, the way he's bending his figures, I'm like, they don't bend like that.
Like, I do that sometimes, and I call that move, like, the backpack, and then, like, it goes, their legs, like, link over their shoulders into, like, a half Canadian destroyer, and then just bring their heads down.
So we carried on walking around. We talked to Jim Christian asked us, are we enjoying the event? I was like, absolutely, loved it. And I mentioned the fact that I was really impressed with Saul. I thought he was really good. And that's when he told us, he's like, that's his debut. I was like, oh my goodness, that's amazing. And then at that point, JB was there. So we got a picture with JB. And then fortunately, just a few moments later, Saul came out as well. So we got a picture with Saul as well. I think it seems to be a little different. I'm used to events where sometimes you pay for pictures with the wrestlers, or sometimes if you buy the merch, they'll give you a free picture. There was a lot of wrestlers on the outside. I think this is a different setup. I think you can just say, hey, do you mind if I get a picture with you? And they're generally okay with that. I guess if they don't have a merch table anyway. I guess if they have a merch table, it's slightly different rules. But no, so we got pictures with those. We went to Sly Scapone, because that was really the one that I wanted. I wanted that autograph, and he didn't do 8x10s. He did t-shirts and he did the headbands, so I'm like, sure, I guess Jay likes to dress up. So I was like, do you want a headband? And he wanted a headband. You picked out one too.
I found a good use for the headbands. So
putting on your head?
No. Well, yes, that.
Tying your brother up?
No.
Putting over Jay's mouth to stop him talking?
Well, yes, that would be good too. And so I bought this new basketball hoop that hangs over the hallway, but yet the door won't close, and then it's weird because it would be angled at a wrong way if I, closed it with the duck behind it. And because my hand is too fat to, get it through the door.
Anyone listening now wants to know why you have a duck behind your door.
No, it's, to stop the door.
It's like a door stop. It's not a real duck. I used it
when I was young. And so I wrapped the Slice Capone thing around the neck, and then I put it under the door.
The duck's neck?
Yes. I just wrapped it around and then put it under the door.
Okay.
So it will close and stay, so it's not at a 45-degree angle.
So you managed to find an alternative use for
Yes.
it. Jay, however, can just wear it on normal things. I like it because it's one we can take, every time we go to EWA now, we can just take that along. So that's kind of good. It's not like the t-shirts, we've kind of got a lot of t-shirts. I didn't really want another t-shirt, but I like the headband because we don't have any headbands. So I think that's kind of cool as well. We got a picture with Sly as well. And then we did go to the Grimy Scots, and Jay managed to get his autograph, and he got a picture with them as well. And yeah, those guys are fun. I like seeing their matches. I like that they're faces at EWA as well, because sometimes we've seen them in their heels. Yeah. It's kind of difficult to support somebody when you're a heel. It's a little bit more difficult.
We did for Benjamin.
We did for Benjamin. Yeah, I guess we made a special case for Benjamin, didn't we? Yeah. I guess that one's, yeah, I guess we did.
And I do
for
Roman all the time.
I guess so. All right, after the intermission, it was match 6, which was Cory Bush versus Grizzly O, and Grizzly O is one of the dark horses. See, that's one of the things I'm starting to piece together now. I can tell the dark horses, because obviously you can see from their t-shirts, but when it was individually, when I first saw Grizzly O, I just thought it was a different wrestler. I didn't appreciate that it was part of that tag team.
And
At Rage in a Cage, Cory lost the heavyweight title to Jesse O'Ryan, and the Dark Horses we already talked about won the War Games. Now, actually, in the Sweet 16 tournament, a stable called Gravity is formed, which was Cory Bush, Chris Kushnir, and Rising Stars, who is Austin Everett. So we've talked about those three already. Also Jordan Evans. I don't recognise that name, Jordan Evans.
Me neither.
No, I don't think we've seen him yet, so that might be something different. And Apollo Cruz was actually teaming with Jesse, but he turned on him at the end of the match.
Yeah.
Now, I'm actually noticing something, because I was jokingly on Twitter when I was talking to Austin Everett saying, what is it about Elo Neal? I was like, how come all his partners loses all his partners? So we just noticed here then, Apollo Cruz, not that one, turned on, I've lost which person
Jesse
it was now.
O'Ryan.
Thank you. So you know that he's obviously not a good tag team partner then. So he's obviously turned on a couple of people now. And actually, Apollo Cruz, I forgot, responded later. And he's like, yeah, he said, I don't know what's up with him. He's like, I'm always good with all my partners. with the exception of blah, blah, blah. And he listed like 4 names. So he obviously, by his own admission, is somebody who turns pretty quickly. So, yeah, perhaps it's not Elo Neal's fault. Perhaps he's just been a little unlucky. Jay had his hand out for a high five for this one. He didn't get one. He turned around, and then the 2 kids who were next to him both got high fives. Luckily, he didn't see, because he gets really mad when he doesn't get a high five. Even when it's a heel who doesn't give high fives, he kind of goes, "Urgh," and his face all scrunches up, and he gets all mad. I don't have anything for this match at all, so this one is all you, sir.
Oh, I just realized Jackson didn't really root for a heel.
Not so much.
Yeah.
Not so much. No.
I don't think he did root for a heel at all, except for he didn't really root for anybody in the starting match. There wasn't one during the Soul match. Well, technically, if Mr. Jones is a heel, he was rooting for them, but I'm sure everybody was.
He's not just a rooter of out-and-out heels, that's for sure. It depends on who the heel is. I think it depends. There must be something about the wrestler that he has to like, and if it's something he likes, he's going to go for them, whether they're heels or whether they're faces. So, yeah, it's not just that he always likes the heels, but it just happened, I think, 3 in a row were heels when we saw it that one time.
Ivan Ali, I don't get how you like him, and
you can like
Timmy
whoever
Danger's
you like.
team.
Some people like Manchester United. It's the way it goes.
I like Roman Reigns. I don't get it. Cory Bush, he said that Grizzly, he's not a real heavyweight. And Cory Bush was announced as 400 pounds.
Yes, I think that's right.
He's the weight of the world.
I think that's right. Yep.
And Grizzly, he misses a dive off the top rope, and Cory, he takes off his straps, and then, when he jumps down onto Grizzly, you can see his bare bottom.
You could? I missed that.
And then it was a relatable Anthony Green moment. No, Jackson saw it.
Oh, he did?
That's all I got.
Do you have the finish for the match?
Cory Bush won.
How?
He did.
You'd think after nearly 18...
He jumped on him.
You'd think after... This is 15 months in that you might have important information like that, but I guess probably I should not be that surprised. Alright, let's move on. Match 7 is the Cruiserweight title. Jason Drake versus Wes Mercer. Now, Jason Drake on Twitter as well. His last tweet was January 15th, 2018. He hasn't tweeted in over a year. And his last tweet before that was April 2017. So that's somebody who I followed, and it's probably absolutely pointless in doing so. I have found out his girlfriend's name now. It's Rabid Rizzo. And it does actually say on her t-shirt, I'm Rizzo. It actually says something on her back as well, which I'm not going to repeat on this one. And at Rage in the Cage, Jason defeated Tyson Creed. And the thing that stuck out for me most in this match was, clearly Rabid Rizzo's a heel. That looked like a real cigarette she was smoking.
Yeah.
There
was a no smoking sign in there.
I thought so as well. I did not think...
I did see a couple of dudes vaping in there.
Okay.
It was in the entranceway.
I don't know. I did talk about, perhaps for artistic effect, if you're in a theatre, to make it authentic, are you allowed to smoke a cigarette for that reason? Not for the enjoyment of the cigarette, but for the portrayal of the character. I don't know, but it really surprised me.
She only did smoke it 4 times.
I know, but she made it clear. It wasn't obvious. She wasn't trying to hide it behind her back or anything. Because she was there blowing it, and the ref could see it, and everyone else could see it, and even the kids were like, "Whoa, she's." And everyone, of course, was saying "Oh, your breath's gonna stink, and you got yellow teeth," and all the sort of stereotypes that goes with smokers as well. So it definitely made her more of a heel character, which I like. But I was just surprised to see it. I didn't expect to see that at all. Okay, tell us about the match then.
The woman puffs the smoke in Jason's face, but it didn't knock him out enough for
You mean Wes's face?
Yeah.
You said Jason's face.
Oh,
Jason's the champion.
Wes's face enough for the Hurricane Rana off the top rope. And Jason should have got a 3, but the woman... Wes should have got a 3, but the woman put Wes's foot on the top rope when Wes was...
The top rope?
No.
Alright, you're getting these totally mixed up. Alright, whenever Mason says Wes, he means Jason. And whenever he says Jason, he means Wes. Alright, so Wes was supposed to get the pinfall, but she lifted Jason's foot up and put it on the bottom. He has long legs if you lifted his leg up and put it on the top rope. I would love to have seen that. I'm going to assume you wrote that down wrong.
I put on rope.
Okay.
An A,
and you guessed top.
No, I thought it looked like top real quick.
Okay.
And then Wes wins with a stomp.
Wes didn't win.
I mean, Jason wins with a stomp.
Wes, if I remember correctly, and I said I didn't write anything down for this, I think at the end of the match, Wes actually took his boots off and then put them in the middle of the ring to show this was him officially retiring as well. I'm pretty sure that was this match.
Why is everyone retiring?
Well, because he was retired anyway, but he came back because it was the Legends thing.
Oh.
And it was the Hall of Fame inductions, and then I think he just wanted that one match, but I think that was his final match. He left his shoes in the ring, and then he left, which I thought was kind of a cool way. We've been to 2 events, and we've seen 2 people retire now. So, Hijinks
3.
and Wes Mercer.
And Chance Rawlings.
Oh, did he do it as well?
Yeah, he said it's a retirement party.
Oh, okay.
That's why he was passing beer.
Perhaps I got it. Oh, of course. You're right. Yep. All right, match 8. This was the one that wasn't listed in the program. This was for the Maryland title. It was Scapone versus Kole versus Johnny Malloy versus Tomahawk from the Dark Horses. At Rage in a Cage, Johnny Malloy defeated Scapone to obtain the EWA Maryland title. Johnny Malloy is the guy who has the big beard coming down the front. I'm trying to show a long chin right now.
Yeah, the Bianca Belair.
Yeah, like Belair on his chin. Also for this one, Johnny Malloy on Twitter, the Beard Villain at JMBeardLife. Hashtag Champion of Maryland returns to EWA Pro Wrestling in Dundalk, Maryland. Hashtag The Man on Top of the Hill. Hashtag Fear the Beard. Hashtag Shadow of a Doubt. Hashtag Beard Villain. Hashtag Johnny Malloy. Hashtag Pro Wrestling. That's a lot of hashtags. Now, I told you his name was at JMBeardLife. It's not even beard with an A. It's with a beard with an E. So it's like JM, the drink beer, D, and then life. Now, did he spell his own name wrong? I don't know. I did wonder that. Or is somebody... It seems unlikely somebody would have taken that name. JM Beard and then life. I don't know. All those hashtags you heard with beard right there, right? Yeah. Fear the Beard, Beard Villain, all those things. I don't know. Oh, one more thing from this. Kole defeated AK Willis. The Dark Horses won at War Games. And that was the one that we went to last. Scapone and Kole won the Sweet 16 tournament, so they were in together. And tell us about this match.
So Sly and Jai team up against Tomahawk. Mm-hmm. And then Sly, he suplexes him off the top rope and then pins him. Jai pushes him off and steals the win.
And yes, he did. And considering they were tag team partners for that one, I thought that was a good way of actually finishing that. I kind of like the idea that Sly was going to win it, but I think for the storyline going forward, that his tag team partner pushed him off and stole the win from him, I think sets that story up really nicely. And I felt bad for this at the start. Oh, then I forgot to write this one down as well. You guys obviously had your headbands on, because we knew we were going to have that match still. And I said to Jay, I was like, don't bother trying to get a high five. I was like, Sly doesn't give high fives. Because last time, he didn't give any high fives. And he comes around giving high fives to, like, everybody.
I put my hand out and I got a high five.
I know, and Jay's looking at me, and I was like, I'm sorry, buddy. I was like, last time he didn't give any. So I guess the idea is you just go for a high five either way, and if you get it, you do, and if you don't, you don't. But we didn't know. All right, last match, match 9. This was for the EWA Heavyweight title. This is Jesse O'Ryan versus Apollo Cruz. Not that one. Apollo on Facebook. If you really like Jesse O'Ryan, then you might want to come out to Tall Cedars Hall in Parkville tomorrow to witness his last match. I brought him into this world, and I can certainly take him back out of it. Now, I actually started doing a little bit of research for this one. I found something called the Dirty Ugly Wrestling Podcast, which I kind of had a lot of stuff with Jesse O'Ryan. So I started to listen to those ones. I like listening to podcasts anyway. From May 20th, 2007, they actually talked about the debut of Jesse O'Ryan. So he's not been at EWA for that long. He's been there for about two years now. They also talked about the fact his third match was a title match. That's pretty impressive.
Wow.
That's really quick rise to fame. And he said, they asked him, what are you doing to get the fans behind you? And he's like, I don't know. Sometimes gimmicks just take off. Sometimes wrestlers do something and the fans really respond to it. And sometimes fans just don't respond. But yeah, fans definitely responded to Jesse O'Ryan, that's for sure. Now, they started talking about Cory Bush and the Jesse O'Ryan rivalry. I'm like, whoa, this is from 2 years ago? I didn't realise that. So that was the match that we saw. That was the main event at the Rage in the Cage. And Cory Bush was an integral part of this one as well with his new group that he's put together. And so that rivalry has been going on for a lot longer than I'd realised. So that storyline was something that I didn't know.
Oh, so this is the storyline after Apollo Cruz.
Cruz?
Cruz. He turned on Jesse O'Ryan.
Mm-hmm. At Rage in the Cage, Jesse defeated Cory Bush to become the champion, and Apollo, as we mentioned earlier, turned on his tag team partner, Neal. Apollo was trying to become a 4-time champion, and Apollo actually came out with Chris Kushnir and Austin Everett, And actually, those two got disqualified eventually for coming into the ring, so eventually it was a one-on-one match. But go ahead.
Justin Bieber and Kushnir got sent to the back, and Cory takes the ref, and Jesse moves. Cory jumps on Apollo, and Jesse wins. And then somebody comes out and just attacks Jesse Orion.
All right, so there's a little bit more to it than that. At the end of the match, Cory Bush came out, and actually the other two who got sent out came back in again, and they all started to beat up Jesse. Then Grimy Scots came out to help, and that didn't work. Another group came to help Gravity, and that's when it all got crazy. I couldn't tell exactly what was going on.
I saw the Dark Horses came out.
Oh, was it the Dark Horses? And then there was a lot going on again, and then Cory got on the microphone and said, "Hey, everybody, you all need to leave." I'm thinking, that's not going to work. And they did. Everyone just left. They kind of tended like they were fighting, and then they went through the curtain to the back, so it was just Cory and Jesse. And the thing I liked is you could hear the trash cans behind the curtain, suggesting like they were still fighting. I'm sure someone was just hitting the trash can on the floor, but it really sounded like they were still fighting backstage. I thought that was a really nice touch. And then actually the lights went out, and I didn't know who it was at the time, but somebody appeared in the ring. Now, I don't know if you knew who it was. I'm going to guess probably not.
Oh my god. I think it was, so like when Jesse Orion, he was walking around the ring, I think he hugged that guy.
Oh, okay.
That guy, and then he just jumped over the barricade and started attacking.
All right. Well, the person was TJ Sykes, who was a former EWA champion, and then someone else attacked Jesse as well. And it was starting to get a little bit crazy. Yeah. So anyway, that was Cory Bush's choice. He wanted to bring TJ Sykes in. I don't know why Cory Bush doesn't want to attack Jesse Orion. That's sound kind of weird that he brought somebody else in to do it.
Well, it's kind of like Coach Gator, maybe.
I don't know. I'm not quite sure how that's worked. Now, I did actually see on here. Apollo Cruz, I thought he was your tag team partner, and Jesse Orion said he was once. Didn't even make it to the end of the match before he turned on me and helped the other team win. So we know that Apollo, we already talked about Apollo Cruz being not particularly good with tag team partners, but that Jesse Orion mentioned it as well, and obviously Neal saw it as well. And all right, here was the quote that I was looking for earlier from Apollo Cruz. "Certainly wasn't my fault that first time. I usually have no problems with being a team player. Jesse Orion, Bill Ward, and Buster McCarvey don't count." So he's by his own admission. This was from 19th of May 2019, and I think that's it. That rounded out the show. It was, I think I'm trying to remember how long it was. It was about 2.5 hours, something like that. It didn't feel like it was too long. It didn't feel like it was too short. Thoroughly enjoyed it. This time as we left, we just kind of left. Last time we got like high fives as we left, but yeah, we just kind of left. The next event, unfortunately, we can't go to. EWA Pro Wrestling presents Summer Sizzler 2019, June 21st. Once again, it's at the Tall Cedars Hall. I think they're all at Tall Cedars Hall as far as I can tell. In Parkville, Maryland. And go get your tickets for that. And I'm really upset we can't go because Brian Pillman Jr. is going to be there as well. I was like, we already have a commitment. We are supposed to go to, I think it's called New Evolution Wrestling. We're going to take a little road trip. We're going to go down to North Carolina. We're going to go and see where the birth of Flight was. I know you guys know about the Wright brothers. Jackson started to read a little book about it as well. So we're going to do a few things like that while we're down there. So unfortunately, we won't be able to see it. But like us, if you want to catch it, you can actually catch it on their YouTube channel. So go subscribe to EWA Pro Wrestling. And that does it for this episode of the MGB Wrestling Podcast. Next week's episode should feature the debut event of Primetime Pro Wrestling, which is going to actually happen tomorrow as we're recording, May 26th, 2019. And I think it's officially DC. It's right on the borderline with Maryland.
It's goodbye from me.
And it's goodbye from him.
Goodbye.
The music was Zigzag by Kevin MacLeod at incompetech.com, licensed under Creative Commons by Attribution 3.0, http://creativecommons.org/licenses/by/3.0/.
You are listening to